Coaches, welcome to the Scopus National Air Rifle League. I'm your host, Erik Anderson, and I am also serving as your league administrator. And you are attending the 2023 season's coaches meeting. Welcome. Let's get started. I would first like to introduce John Becker, who is sharing the league administrator responsibilities with me this year. John is our customer outreach specialist. He does have pretty extensive knowledge in the shooting sports. For full disclosure, he is the rifle coach at Granbury Marine Corps JROTC, is the Texas State CMB director, and has coaching qualifications with USA Shooting. Not only is he serving as our league administrator, truth be told, he actually does most of the day-to-day operations for the league. I am entirely grateful for his work that he does for us. But outside of that, he is available to you if you have questions about perhaps you want to run your own league or you want to have questions about best practices in a competition. Please reach out to him if you have any of these best practices types of questions. He is available to you as our customer outreach specialist. Logistics. I know a few people are still coming on board, and that's fine. But this meeting, I do plan to have it last about 40 minutes. The topics of the coaches meeting are specific to the Air Rifle League. If you have questions about how to use Orion, those are outside of the specific presentation. Please contact our support line for those types of help questions. But with respect to the league, this information is for you. So I encourage you to ask questions and to make comments. To do so, please use the YouTube chat box. And either I will be able to answer the question during the presentation itself, or one of our moderators will answer your question. Finally, today's webinar is being recorded and will be available for download after the fact. All right, league statistics. This is the 8th year of the league. Second largest rifle pistol competition in the United States. The first is still the JRC postal competitions hosted by the CMP. This year we have 131 registered teams, 104 on the sporter side, 27 on the precision side, and roughly 1,240 athletes representing those 131 teams. We have teams represented from 33 states. Texas, I believe, has 18 of those teams. And 2 of the teams are from Germany. They are Department of Defense schools. So welcome, everybody. All right. For the coaches and teams who have participated last season, the league is much the same with the following changes. First, rebranding. We are now the Scopus National Air Rifle League. Our company rebranded back in January, and thus we have a new name. The Elite Division on the Sporter League now has a post-season single conference championship game. This was something you the coaches asked for in our survey last season, so we're happy to provide that for the Elite Division teams. The next big change comes to us from the Civilian Marksmanship Program. The ordering of the Sporter Class League, it's still a 3x10 course of fire, but the ordering is now kneeling, prone, standing. This came after an announcement from the CMP, who will be moving towards the kneeling, prone, standing firing order for all the matches that they are organizing, including the JRC poster program coming later this fall. The Precision League remains a 60-shot standing course of fire. And one other change that is coming this year is we are going to have a weekly league overall press release that will be sent out, in addition to the game-by-game press releases that we send out. All right, so let's kind of get into the guts of the presentation. And one of the first things I do want to cover for the coaches is kind of our dual responsibilities for success. Both of us, as in the league administrators, myself and John, and you, the coaches, have responsibilities to help make this a successful season. As league administrators, one of our responsibilities is to schedule the games every week. But we can really only do that if you, the coaches, let us know of any scheduling conflicts. If you don't, it makes our job a lot more difficult. Again, as league administrators, we have a responsibility to announce the winners of the games in a timely fashion Monday afternoon. But we can only do that if you, the coaches, submit your scores to us by the deadline, by that Monday morning deadline. Again, as league administrators, we have a responsibility for providing a standard set of playing conditions for all teams. And we do that through providing the range scripts and manuals. But as coaches, in order to make sure you have that standard set of playing conditions for all teams, you got to make sure that you follow those range scripts. And then finally, we have a responsibility to promote the league to the media. We want to promote the sport, promote the league, promote the teams in the league. And when we send out the press releases to the media, the single first question every member of the media asks us is, do you have photos of the teams? So one of your responsibilities, coaches, is get those photos into us. So when members of the media ask for it, we can deliver it to the media, again, helping to promote the league and your teams. All right, the season. The National RFL League is broken down into 3 parts overall for the season. Going on now is the preseason. I do strongly encourage all teams to participate in the preseason. Strongly encourages, I'm going to say it again, please, if you're participating in the league, please participate in the preseason. It is your opportunity to learn how to participate in the league without your scores counting in the actual league itself. That is going on now through Sunday. All members of the league are invited to participate. And if you want to participate multiple times, let us know. You're allowed to do so. But I do strongly encourage everybody to participate in the preseason. The regular season starts on Monday and goes for 8 weeks. During the regular season, each team will have exactly 1 game each week to participate in. You'll be squatted against one other team in the league. During those 8 weeks, you will also have a bye week where you're just not shooting at all. Many of you, thank you by the way, selected your bye weeks when you registered. That helps us a lot when it comes time to scheduling. Thank you very much for selecting your bye week at the time of registration. The schedule is created dynamically by Orion, and I have in a few slides, I will go over the details about how that scheduling occurs. And during the regular season, all members of your team may participate in the league game. If you have 4 members on your team, if you have 40 members of your team, they are all encouraged and are allowed to participate in the regular season games. Postseason. If your team does advance to the postseason, this occurs, the postseason starts after Thanksgiving, after the week of Thanksgiving. In the Champions divisions, there is a single elimination tournament to determine the overall league winner. And in the Distinguished and Elite divisions, again, this is new for the Elite division this year, you have a 1-game conference title match for each of the divisions. One change in the postseason is instead of all members of your team participating, you are limited to 5 members. Regardless, the top 4 scores will constitute your team score. All right, organization of the league itself. Here's a diagram of the organization of the league. We have the Sporter and Precision leagues. And teams are categorized into divisions based on their historic skill levels. The Champions Division is reserved for the top teams in the country. It is purposely difficult to be selected in the Champions Division. So if you did get selected, congratulations. And then we have below that the Distinguished and Elite divisions. Within the divisions, we also have conferences, which is based on your organization's structure. Mostly it is the JRTC services or junior rifle clubs. And the Junior Rifle Club conference is kind of a collection of everything from traditional junior rifle clubs to varsity rifle programs, 4-H programs, American Legions, all of those kind of grouped together for the Junior Rifle Club conference. All right, squatting into divisions. As I mentioned, the Champions Division is reserved for the top teams in the country. And regardless if it's on the sporter side or on the precision side, there are two criteria that have to be met in order to be squatted into the Champions Division. The first is from scores from last year's season. You have to have a minimum score from last season's league. The second, and again, both of these have to be met, you have to have a minimum qualifying score from a sanctioned competition. Sanctioned by CMP, sanctioned by USA Shooting, but both of those conditions have to be met in order to qualify for the Champions Division. And then for the Distinguished and Elite divisions, those are based on scores you fired last season or if you're new to the league. All right, so with all that said, I am now going to take a moment to pause and allow you, the coaches, to check your team's registration. We have links available both through the YouTube chat box, surprisingly difficult to say, or you can just use a QR code or just type it directly into your browser. Couple things to check. Check the spelling of your team name. Check the hometown that you're listed. Check if the conference and division is correct for you. And check that we have the correct bye weeks selected for your teams, if you selected any at the time of registration. So again, I'm going to pause for about 30 seconds to allow you a moment to check this information. As you look over your team information, if you have any changes that needs to be made, please get those changes to us as quickly as possible, and use the email address listed on the slide, league@scopus.tech, to make any changes to your team's registration. All right, let us continue. All right, games. As I mentioned, each week your team will participate in one game. For the purpose of the league, the week is defined as Monday through Sunday. We will release the games to you on Monday, and you're to schedule your team to shoot sometime during the week before Sunday and submit your scores. If you are in the Sporter League, the course of fire is a 3x10, and again, it's kneeling, prone, standing ordering. And in the postseason, it does change to a 3x20. In the Precision League, it is a 60-shot standing course of fire for both the regular and post seasons. During the, apologize, sir. During the regular season, all games are virtual. Actually, during the regular and postseason, all games are virtual. And what that means is your team will fire from your home range, as well as the team you're competing against. And through the magic of our virtual match technology, these scores will get combined online for you and everybody else to view online. All games are governed by the National Standard 3-Position Air Rifle rules, and we do have range scripts for you to follow to help guide you. And all scoring is done electronically. either on paper targets using Orion, or if you have a EST system using Athena, Megalink, or Seus. We do have a few questions here. I'm going to take a quick pause to take a look at these questions. Questions about the number of team members you selected when you registered. We really only use that number to know how many participation pins to order. When we send off your participation awards in a few weeks, we base that on the actual number of athletes you have firing each week. With respect to your division squatting, it is the same for every team, and it is quantifiable. There is no human decision in which conference you are squatted into. So the teams that make it into the champions, the champions division, again, it's quantified. So congratulations, you have earned your spot there. All right. As coach, one of your responsibilities is to schedule a time during the week to shoot your game. And you have the entire week to for your team to shoot the scores Monday through Sunday. A couple things that are allowed when you are scheduling time for your team to shoot. In this little diagram that I have, a simple 4-member team, I have 2 of my athletes shooting their league scores on Tuesday, and a different 2 athletes shooting their league scores on Thursday. That's perfectly fine. You don't have to shoot all of your athletes on the same day at the same time. You can split your team up multiple days, multiple relays. And, when they're not shooting the league, we encourage them to practice. What is not allowed is to have your team try to shoot multiple times for the same game. Unfortunately, if you tried that will lead to a disqualification. So please don't do that. Athletes may shoot only once. All right, scheduling during the regular season. We use what we call dynamic scheduling, and the goal of dynamic scheduling is twofold. First, provide a diversity of teams for you to compete against. It would be really boring if you shot against the same team every week. The second goal is to schedule your team against a team that is of near equal skill level. And okay, so how do we do that, and how does this work in practice? The first 2 weeks of the league, because we don't have any scores in the system whatsoever for the first 2 weeks, it's completely random. We do try to schedule within your conference, within your division, but beyond that, it is completely random. Starting with the third week, the scheduling is based on results from the first week. And again, we try to group teams based on how they're doing in the league. And then the fourth week is based on results from the first and second week. And anyway, this pattern goes on through the regular season. And when we try to group teams together of near equal skill level, we base that off of what we call league points, which is in effect your seasonal average plus bonus points you get for a win. One final note about scheduling is we do not schedule teams who have 2 or more DNSs on two or more DNSs did not start. If it's just not fair for a team that is participating to be squatted against a team that has dropped out. So if you have, again, 2 or more DNSs, we stop scheduling you going forward. All right, conference and divisional rankings. Our website will show the rankings of all the teams in each of the league. And then there are filters to limit them by either your conference or division. And the rankings are all based off of league points, which again is your seasonal average plus bonus points for each win. And then there's no points if you have a loss or no points if you turn your scores in late. And then we have negative points if you didn't turn any scores in whatsoever. That's negative points, and of course even further points for a disqualification. And you can see example down below as to how we calculate those league points. Again, it's seasonal average plus basically bonus points for each of your wins. All right, for the teams who did well during the regular season, you will advance to the postseason. If you're in the Champions Division, you may qualify for the postseason championship tournament, which determines the overall league winner. It is a single elimination tournament, the 3 weeks following Thanksgiving. On the Sporter side, we also have a second tournament for deserving teams that we call the Invitational Tournament. Allow more teams to participate in the postseason. If you are in the Distinguished or Elite divisions, you may qualify for the conference title game. That is a single game held the week directly after Thanksgiving. I'm just taking a brief pause. There's a few more questions on here. Looks like... All right, looks like the questions were specific to individual users and they have been addressed. So I am going to continue. All right, again, please use the YouTube chat box to ask questions, make comments. This information is for you, so I encourage you to submit your questions, and one of us will, either myself or my moderators, will get answers to you. All right, again, postseason, the conference title game, and all the seeding is based on league points. The one change in the postseason is you are limited to 5 athletes. Again, the top 4 scores always count. And on the Sporter side, you go from a 3x10 to a 3x20 in the postseason. All right, how to participate. I've already said this once. I'll probably say it one more time before the end of the presentation. Please use the preseason to learn how to participate in a league game. Again, it's going on now. All teams are invited to participate in the preseason. The actual instructions for participating in the league game are written down in what we call the Instructions and Range Command Manual. This manual is available for download from our website, and we'll also make sure that it is available. We'll send it out on an email as well. This manual has both the instructions on how to download the game, the range script, and also how to make sure your scores get uploaded. Each week, the game will be available on Monday at noon, and you have until the following Monday to turn in your scores. One way that we want to make sure that all teams are treated equally is making sure that the playing conditions are equal by using this exact same range commands as everybody else. So the range command script is mandatory. You can get the range command script from lots of different places. The printed instructions, if you're using Athena, the range control tab, or the back of your rulebook. They're all the same. Again, a couple of questions that have come through. The postseason is for the top performing teams based on the regular season only. You do have to qualify for the postseason. If you don't move forward. Question about if you're using Athena, will the scores be submitted automatically? Yes. If you're using Athena and you have downloaded the game and are within that game, the scores will be submitted automatically to our system. All right. With respect to scores, very, very, very important. Please, coaches, check your scores after you have submitted them. Once again, I apologize. I'm trying to both simultaneously give the presentation and watch the comments that come through. I need to pay more attention to the presentation. All right, please, coaches, check your scores after you have shot your targets, and as far as you can tell, have entered all the scores, all the targets inside of Orion. Checking your scores is very easily. Inside of Orion, there is a globe icon. click the globe icon and your game page will come up. The game page is off of our web server. You'll see your scores that your team shot, and if the team that you're shooting against that week, you'll see their scores if they have submitted it. Very, very important each week. Very, very important each week. Check the scores after you have submitted them. One thing to note, you probably have learned that we have a new result website called Results. It is not completed yet, but one of the things we plan to do is get the league web pages ported over to Results in the coming weeks. So sometime during the league, the online results system is going to get a giant, much improved facelift. So look for that. And then also, coaches, on Fridays at approximately 11 o'clock, we do send out email reminders to let you know what scores we have in the system at that time. So again, that email comes out on Friday, and you have until Sunday. So if you have shot and you get the email and all the scores look right, great. Nothing more you have to do. If you have shot but the scores don't look right from the email, give us a call so we can help you out, figure out what's going on to make sure your scores do get submitted correctly. And of course, the email comes out on Friday, and if your team hasn't shot yet, well, you won't have any scores in the system, and that's fine. But just make sure to get your scores submitted by Sunday. Excuse me, the deadline to submit scores is Monday at noon. Oops, wrong way. All right, yeah, scores are due Monday at noon. I cannot emphasize this enough. A lot of you are teachers. A lot of you, whenever you're teaching classes, you say the important things over and over and over again to emphasize it to your students. That is what I am doing here. Coaches, please check your scores got submitted successfully, and your scores are due Monday at noon. They are due Monday at noon because if you have questions about submitting your scores over the weekend, which we are closed on Sunday, you have a few hours Monday morning to give our support team a call so we can help you out. So again, scores are due Monday at noon. All right, special circumstances. Unfortunately, during the course of the league, things always come up during the league itself. Scheduling conflicts. Again, a lot of you are school programs. You have teacher work days. You have fall breaks. Some of you have celebrations during Veterans Day. And a lot of you have submitted bi-week requests to kind of cover those weeks off. Thank you so much for submitting those bi-week requests. It would really help us. But if you didn't, or something comes up during the season, please let us know as soon as possible so we can work with you to make sure your team can still participate. All right, if a athlete is sick, we have something we kind of jokingly call the basketball rule, that if it can happen to a basketball team, we're going to allow it to happen to the rifle teams. So if you have an athlete that is sick one week, just like if your starting point guard is feeling ill and can't participate, you got to rely on the rest of the team. Always in the league, the top 4 scorers count, so the game does go on even if you have an athlete that is sick. If you do have 2 games during the same week, which would only happen if there's a schedule change, you do have to shoot both games separately. And I do want to let everybody know that in an extreme condition, we do have the authority to cancel a game. That has happened in the past, really only has happened because of extreme weather events. Unfortunately, global warming is here. School systems have been shut down for multiple weeks at a time. We do have the authority to cancel a game, but we only do that as a last resort. Otherwise, we work with you to try to give your team an opportunity to compete. All right. Scheduling changes, special conflicts that come up during the league, notify us by emailing us at league@scopus.tech, or you can call our support team at the number listed below. All right, let's get into some of the fun stuff here. All right, the league poster. I am really excited about the. I'm really excited about the league poster this year. I think this is probably the best one that we have done. It started out kind of as a joke between myself and one of my programmers, Liam Eberhardt. One of us made the joke that we can tell what decade you learned to shoot based on your standing position. And as it turns out, it actually is not much of a joke because the standing position has evolved over the last 120 years, and we came up with a poster kind of demonstrating that evolution. So this poster features 15 athletes that are all world champions or Olympic champions of the last 120 years. It started out a century ago with the Americans dominating the sport. In the 1950s, the Soviet athlete Bogdanov, hopefully I pronounced that somewhat correctly, dominated the sport, and he was the first one to use a heavy leather jacket in shooting. Then comes the 1960s and 70s, dominated by the Americans, who had a kind of a big back bend, exaggerated back bend that they were using. Fast forward to the late 1970s and 1980s, Malcolm Cooper of England came onto the field and was the first athlete to use shooting pants. He was also a Olympic gold medalist. Then comes the 1990s, who I can only really describe as a decade of experimentation. You have Vesela Lecheva, who literally her back leg is literally bent. And you have Sonia Fileshifter, who is shooting in the Bavarian shooting stance with a big back bend and legs spread very far apart. Neither one of these positions should you be teaching to your athletes. And yet, both of these ladies are world champions. So figure that part out. And then kind of fast forward to the modern era where we demonstrate the positions of some of the top athletes from different countries of the world. China, who's dominated the sport in the last 20 years. Italy, Russia, India. And then we finally have the two American athletes, Virginia Thrasher and Will Shaner, who demonstrating very modern positions that are based off of both very little back bend, but balance and utilizing the shooting jacket and pants as much as possible. So please enjoy the poster. Every team that registered for the league will be getting a copy of the poster, and we hope you like it as much as we do. All right, further awards for the regular season. Again, every team is going to get a copy of the poster. And then every athlete will receive a participation pin and stickers for the rifles. The participation awards we will be sending out in mid-October. Again, the number of participation awards that we send out is based on the number of athletes that are actually shooting. And let's see, for the for the competition awards from the regular season, the Champions Division, the top three teams gets medals and a banner for your range. And then if you're in the Distinguished and Elite divisions, the top third of teams gets medals and banners for your range. All right, postseason, we have another set of awards. If you make it to the postseason tournament, and of course, if your team wins the league, congratulations, you have a set of awards, medals, and banners. And then we only give out 2 individual awards for the entire league. The most valuable player in the Sporter League and the most valuable player in the Precision League. And that is defined as the athlete with the highest score during the postseason tournament from the championship team. All right. A lot of you, after last year during the survey, told us that you would like to purchase additional copies of the poster or even have T-shirts available for the league itself. So Thank you for that comment, and we have both of those available now for additional purchases from our web store. Go to scopus.tech if you like to purchase additional copies of the poster or have t-shirts of the league. All right, press releases. Again, this is another incremental advancement we are doing this year. We are trying to promote the sport, promote the league, promote your team as much as possible, and we do that through the generation of press releases. We have one press release for each game each week, and we'll be sending that out to the coaches, and if you specified a member of the media, we'll be sending that too. And then we also have a separate, league-wide press release that we're going to be sending out each week by close of business on Monday. So both of those are going to be available, and again, we are trying to promote the sport as much as possible. All right, and like I said, whenever we send out these press releases to members of the media, the single first question that they ask is, can we get a photo? So please, coaches, help us out. Send in your team photos, and we will make those available to members of the media. We also put these team photos up on our website, on our Facebook pages, again, trying to promote the sport, your team. When you take the photo, please have all your team members included, including coaches. You're welcome to be part of the photo, and if possible, wear your team or school colors. All right, team coaches' responsibilities. We covered a lot of this already, but it is important to reiterate. Be familiar with the league program and rules. If you're here listening to this coaches conference, thank you. It's going a long way towards that. Responsibility for conducting your game. We are depending on you to do so, conducting your game according to the national standard of 3-position air rifle rules. Again, range scripts are available for that. Scheduling the game within the time frame of the week. Again, they're released on Monday. You have until Sunday to shoot. You have until Monday afternoon, Monday at noon, to submit your scores. The correct use of Orion, very, very important. Or the correct use of your EST system. Again, if you have any outstanding circumstances come up, please let us know as soon as possible. The later you wait to tell us of your outstanding circumstance, the less likely that we are to help you. So let us know as soon as possible. And of course, perhaps most importantly, you're responsible for the honesty and integrity of your team. All right, coaches. A lot of you like to reach out to each other. We want to encourage that. To that end, we will be releasing your contact information to all of the other coaches. We usually send that out the first week of the league. The purpose of releasing your contact information is to allow all of you to communicate with each other. It's a method of promoting sportsmanship within shooting. With that said, coaches, you do have the option to opt out. We will absolutely respect that. Let us know, send us an email. We are happy to not include you in the contact information. With that also being said, coaches, please be respectful of everybody else's privacy. We are releasing this information for the purpose of promoting sportsmanship. Please use this information only for its sole purpose that we're providing it. All right, hints to success. I'm just going to go with the bottom statement here first because it's probably the biggest one. The way that the league is organized, the way the discussion goes on, league play favors teams that improve. If you have a team that is working pretty hard in practice and getting better and better each week, you're going to find success in the league. If you have a team that it really isn't working that hard outside, doesn't improve, you're not going to have very much success. So yes, league play favors teams that improve. A couple of things to kind of watch out for to help you is avoid taking a DNS, a did not start. So again, your ranking is based on league points. your average plus bonus points for the win. But there's also negative points if you don't turn a score in. So please turn your scores in. That that will help you out quite a bit. And don't get discouraged if your team drops a game or two at the start of the season. Famous example, Pascagoula in JRGC. Last season, they lost the second game of the league, and they went on to win the conference tournament. So lots of dynamic things happen during the course of the league. Don't get discouraged if your team drops a game or two at the start. All right, we are coming up towards the end. Since I have all of your attentions, I do want to give a little bit of news from our company, Scopus. Again, we rebranded last January. We are now Scopus. We've been doing an awful lot of work over the last year. We did launch a brand new website and store, much easier to navigate than our old website, available at scopus.tech. We launched a new results system, online results system that we call Results. It is the first mobile-friendly online results system for the shooting sports. I'm very, very proud of that. As I mentioned, the league pages will be ported over to Results sometime during the league. Watch for that giant facelift. And a few weeks ago, we launched a powerful new tool for athletes that we call Score History. Athletes can track every score that they ever shot online using Results, no matter the course of fire, no matter where they shot it. Very, very happy to provide that. And since I have all of your attentions, I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I normally don't make an announcement about products until they are ready, but I'm going to make an exception in this case. A few years ago, both the coaches at West Virginia, John Hammond, and the head coach, now retired from Ole Miss, Marshall Beasley, came to me asking me to have one page for an athlete to see every score that they shot publicly. And you know what? We did it. Athlete public profiles are coming. They're imminent. Probably next week. I am very, very excited to launch this. Stay tuned. Look for it. Very excited for it. All right. That is it. I will stay online. If there are additional questions that come up. I do want to thank my moderators for answering the questions that have come through. Thank you very much. Coaches, thank you for attending. Thank you for submitting your questions. We had quite a few good questions during this presentation. Anything comes up during the season, again, reach out to us, league@scopus.tech. We'll get to us. You can call us up. If you have questions about using Orion, we have a great support team. Please utilize them. Good luck to the season. Good luck to all your athletes. One of the great things about this league is the number of coaches that tell me that their teams practice harder during the league than they do during the off season. So please use the league as a motivational tool to help your team get better, which again is one of the secrets to success. Anyway, like I said, I will stay online to see if there are additional questions. Otherwise, for the coaches who may be dropping off, again, thank you for joining us. Good luck to your team. Couple questions that came on during the presentation that were answered. If you would like to add a second bye week for your team, we can absolutely do that. Please let us know now, because this is the easiest time for us to add a bye week for your team. Simply email us and we can add that bye week for your team. Again, we're happy to do so. Now is the best time to do it. We are using decimal scoring for both the precision and sporter leagues. Decimal scoring is the future of the sport. I will openly tell everybody I think the CMP needs to switch to decimal scoring. It's allowed in the rule book. I'm waiting for the day for the CMP to do so. And yeah, if you have your own local leagues, decimal scoring is superior to integer scoring. I absolutely would recommend using decimal scoring in your local competitions. Extra copies of the poster are available on our websites. We would be sending those out with the regular participant rewards when we send them out in about 2 weeks. The public profiles will only contain scores that we have for the athletes. For most, the way that score history works, the way that the public profile pages work are scores that get submitted using Orion or Athena, and athletes do have to have a Scopus account. Athletes may register for a Scopus account on our website, and then inside of Orion, to kind of link your scores, you use that email address that they registered with inside of Orion to link athletes to their scores. Yes, let's see. If you had an account if a athlete had an account on the old Orion mobile app, the Orion mobile app is effectively dead. We are completely replacing it. That same account, that same email address and password works with results. Again, results is what we're calling our new online results system. Questions about the number of athletes that you submitted during registration. Again, the number of athletes that you submitted when you registered, we don't really use that information other than ordering stickers, other than ordering participation pins, of which, quite honestly, we have plenty. When we send out the participation awards, it's based on the actual number of it's based on the actual number of athletes you have participating in those games. So if you didn't submit, if you just left the default, which is 4 athletes on your team when you registered, not a big deal. Just have your athletes shoot the first couple of games, and we'll be sure to get participation awards out to them. All right. All right, again, I will stay on to answer questions as they come up. Coaches, again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your comments, for your questions, and I wish each of you good luck during the season. Again, I will pause to see if there are any additional questions that need to be answered. All right, coaches, doesn't look like there are any additional questions coming through, so I will end the broadcast here in just a moment. Again, this recording will be available for offline viewing sometime later this afternoon, and we'll have additional emails out to all the coaches here coming this week. The schedule will be released for the first 2 weeks tomorrow, and the league starts on Monday. So good luck, everybody, and thank you. And okay, one last question that came up. CMP, I have a very good working relationship with the Severe Marksmanship Program. Brad Dono, Katie Harrington, my conversations with them over the summer. They have every intention of going to kneeling prone standing. I know they sent out an email about 4 weeks ago announcing that they are going to KPS for all of the events that the CNP hosts and sponsors. Local clubs, if you are running a local match that's sanctioned, you still have the option of doing prone standing kneeling or kneeling prone standing. Should be listed in your match program. But as far as the CNP is concerned, everything that the CNP, all of their national matches, the JRGC Service Championships, all of their monthly matches that they have at the ranges, all of that is being switched to a kneeling prone standing. The booklet, it is the booklet of the range commands that we provide is available on our website, and we will also make that available in a email later this week. We chose not to mail out physical copies of the range command script this year. It's a big expense, and most of you, I don't say most of you, about half of you are already on Athena. Thank you, by the way. And if you're using Athena, the range command scripts are built into Orion and the athlete monitors already. All right, coaches, again, thank you for your questions. This information is for you. So I do really appreciate you asking your questions. But looks like we are coming to an end of the questions. So again, good luck to everybody. If you have questions after this, please email us, call us. We'll get you the answers that you need. All right. Thank you very much. Good luck, and have a wonderful Wednesday afternoon.